Hello everyone, I am Sir VG, and this is my demonstration video on why Sony screwed us over in regards to the PSP-2000, in regards to speedrunning. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what the PSP-2000 is, you may have referred to it by its alternate name, the PSP Slim. In late 2007, Sony released this as an updated version of the Sony PSP-1000, typically referred to now as the PSP Fat. In 2008, Sony also came out with the PSP-3000. You can identify the differences between them in the fact that the 2000, up on top here, has the half circle home, select and start buttons, whereas the 3000 has the full circle buttons. The logo has been also moved down to where the home button is, and there's also a microphone. The primary difference, though, was actually that in regards to video output, in that the PSP-2000 can do gaming mode only in component progressive, whereas the PSP-3000 can do either component progressive or composite interlaced. Now, this is great for us that actually we're willing to fork off the money to buy 3000, especially for those of us that are expecting to speedrun with the 2000. But in reality, Sony just kind of screwed us all over. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use one of my favorite PSP games, the one that got me to buy the system, Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles. Now, I have the 3000 outputted my video out to my control switch over there, and I'm going to tilt this up here. And I'm going to switch to TV mode. Now this is what Satoru used for his Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles run, was a PSP-3000. This is for control purposes to show you what the PSP-3000 typically runs at when you're running an interlaced. Just to kind of show you a control. Well, I'm just going to show you one level. It's going to be Stage 1, Dinner of Flames, which is the best example of showing you some comparative differences. Yeah, I'm not certainly showing my speedrunning skills here. Okay, so there's Stage 1, Dinner of Flames. Everything except for the boss fight, but that doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you that it is possible to play a game in the interlaced mode on the 2000. Well, most of them. In order to be able to do this, you have to have M33 custom firmware. Now, the late 2000s had a motherboard change which prevented the use of Pandora battery. So, if you can use the Pandora battery or the Datel tool battery, you can install M33 custom firmware. You need to update to at least 5.00, and that will allow you to install a program called IR Shell. Now, once you get that installed, you can set some options here. Now, I'm switching over to my 2000, loading up a game in my memory card. And I'll show you a couple things you need to set in IR Shell in order to be able to do this properly. Okay, so now we have IR Shell. First, you need to know where the configuration is. It's this little triangle button down at the bottom row. It'll ask you to run the configurator, you click yes. Okay, the first option you need to go down to is TV mode. By default, it's set to component progressive. You need to change it to component interlaced / composite. Now, the other thing you need to change is an option way down at the bottom. Okay, about halfway. It says default CPU speed. Initially it says 222. It's the standard PSP speed, 222 megahertz. Change that by pushing right to 333. Once you're done with that, circle to save. I'll show you why you need to set the CPU speed. I mean, the other choice is obvious. So, in order to switch to TV mode in IR Shell, you need to hold the L trigger and push right on the D-pad. To do that, you switched over to the TV. If you look in the upper right, it's hard to see, but if you look right here, it says 333. That's our speed. Now, first I'm going to show you that you can run game mode on the PSP-2000. I'm going to go up there, go up to the little disc here, choose Launch UMD. It's going to ask us if you want to launch it. As you can see, it's Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles. I'm going to hit X to confirm it. And, as you can see, we're playing the game on the PSP-2000. Now I'll show you the comparative differences in Stage 1 between running it in 333 MHz and 222, the default speed. First, as long as we're in here, I'll show you 333 in comparison to the PSP-2000, which you just saw a moment ago. Same levels, Stage 1, Dinner of Flames. As you can see, it's running very smoothly. Now I'm going to set the default speed back to its original 222 megahertz just to show you what a difference it makes. Now I'm just going down to toggle CPU speed and setting it back to 222, which just temporarily changes the speed. And I'm going to go back, I'm going to launch UMD again. As you can probably expect, there's going to be some lag. Stage 1 is the best example of the lag caused by the slower CPU speeds, as it takes a little more processing power to handle the interlaced. There's some other spots that have some lag. During stage 0 prologue's intro, during stage 8, during Dracula's transformation to his third form, and a couple other spots. For stage 1, prime example. So here it is at the PSP-2000's default speed. You can already see it. Oh yeah. There you go. Let's get out of this. So as you can see, there was quite a few spots where there's some nasty lag. There's a few other options if you want to really have a good PSP experience you can fill around with, especially if you have a computer nearby. If you go into Configurator and set that at no splash for startup splash, that's just annoying. But if you set non-MS media access to enable, redirect keypad to host to either via USB host 0 or the via USB host 0 or NetHost 0 option, you can actually control the system using a program called Remote Joy for IRS and using a controller, like I used the DualShock 2 controller. And if you want as well, you can display redirect to PC via USB host 0 to enable. It'll actually allow you to see the display on a computer, which is good if you want to stream. Those are the primary options you want to change. There's some other ones in here in regards to POP, which if you want to do PS1 games. That's not my big concern. As always hit circle to save your options if you do anything in here. So as you can see, you can speedrun games quite nicely via the PSP-2000. And remember, always set your CPU speed to 333 if you're running an interlaced on a 2000. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. See you next time.